Hello, friends. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
And we are
Conbini Cult.
Ooh. We have one more spooky episode for October. Hopefully you're not tired of scary stories yet. Are you?
I'm not tired of them. I'm just very happy for them to be done. No, I'm kidding. I'm learning a lot. I'm going to use this as a learning experience. So no, I'm not tired yet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just surprised there's so many, which just makes me more afraid, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount to be covered with this. Like urban legends, creepypastas, real ghost encounters. And then for this one, we're going to talk about real haunted places.
Yeah.
So some of the stories behind Japan's most famous horror films, like The Ring and The Grudge, to be specific. So
yeah, this one might be the scariest to me, just because we're in Japan and these are like real haunted places. So
yeah, but personally, so like doing the doing the research for these and stuff, like it was just so interesting. The history and the real lore of these places. I think you might be surprised.
Okay. Well, I know this isn't in the same category of like entertainment and Halloween, but I do really, I am really interested in like true crime and things like that. So I'm sure if there's like, story or like facts behind these places, I would be interested in reading it. But yeah, the films and everything, I can't do it. It's too scary. But I'm excited to learn more about them today.
Yeah. And on the topic of true crime and stuff, actually, so I just wanted to, not a disclaimer, but a sort of note. So like we will talk about crime and stalkers and like the justice system and that kind of stuff eventually. But I didn't really want to do it during this month and have it be like a Halloween theme. That just seemed a bit distasteful. So yeah, we will do deep dives on these things eventually, but in a respectful way towards the victims.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for your disclaimer, as always.
Of course. So, life updates. I feel like yours is more of a segue in today's topic.
Yeah. So it's
mine is totally random.
Not an update. You go first.
Can I go first?
Of course. Yeah.
Basically, so today's date is October 24th. It's still pretty hot.
Yeah.
The temperature dropped maybe a few degrees, but I don't know, today's hot.
It's hot, and like I felt like the other day it was just so cold out of nowhere, and it really felt
Only
like
for one day.
Right, yeah, it really felt like fall. And so I was like, yay. And then today is hot again. And I saw on the news actually they were kind of interviewing people around the street, because a lot of people were like
tourists or Japanese
people, because they're talking about like the weather and like the transition into fall and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of people still who are like, they're calling it like fuku nayami or something. They're just like, yeah, I don't know like what kind of clothes to wear, because it's so hot in the day and then it gets like so cold or whatever. So yeah, I think a lot of people are like, I really hate this like awkward transitional period from like summer to fall for sure. So I don't know if I've been delaying taking out all of my like winter and fall clothes, because I don't really need them yet, but it's still kind of chilly. But yeah, it's such a small problem.
It is tough, because it's October, so you think like, well, it should be cool.
I know, and I just want it to be nice and cool and like fall-y and Halloween-y for my birthday too. Yeah. But
the other day when the temperature dropped, I was so excited, and then I ran to Gyomusupa, with like a supermarket that has large quantities of things.
Yeah.
Almost like Costco, but you don't need a membership or anything.
It's like a lot of import stuff in there too. Yeah.
So they have a lot of produce in there too. So I bought like a ton of vegetables, and then I went crazy like making soup, pumpkin cream pasta. I made pumpkin spice.
Send the recipe. That sounds good. Yeah.
I found a lot of them on TikTok.
Oh.
And then the soups, I just kind of roast whatever veggies and then...
Okay, yeah. If they're like not Japan friendly, how do I say? A lot of the recipes I see on TikTok, they're always like, and then put it in the oven. And I'm like, no, I don't have an oven in Japan, or a lot of things I can't buy here. So if you have a good recipe, let me know.
Well, yeah, a lot of them still do use an oven, but I use that like, not a
toaster?
Microwave, like it's not a toaster, it's not a microwave, it's like something in between that and a full-size oven.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to call it.
You bought it like yourself. It's like one of those bigger size, like microwave toaster oven-ish all in one.
Yeah, but it's not quite as good as
a real oven.
A real big oven.
Ooh, maybe I should invest in one of those. Yeah, I really want one.
Yeah, it's the best you can get.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your life update?
My life update, I mean, I'm getting closer to, my birthday and Halloween season. Oh, are you going to be anything for Halloween?
No,
Are you going to do anything? I don't have a costume either, but I wish I did. Yeah, I just don't know what's going on around Osaka for Halloween stuff. And I want to do something fun in Halloween, but also I don't want to go outside and be crowded with a bunch of people drinking and stuff. And speaking of, Shibuya shut down, Halloween
totally
and stuff.
Canceled.
But now they just shut it down year round. You're not allowed to drink in Shibuya anymore. So that was kind of some big news. But yeah, not so much a life update for me other than just watching some nice spooky, mildly spooky stuff for fall. And I recently got into an anime called I don't know if it's Dan-da-dan or Da-da-da-dan. But it's, have you heard of this anime or anything?
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's pretty new. So they stream it on Netflix every week, every when the new episodes come out. And it's also, I don't remember if it's NHK Channel 1 or TBS or whatever, but it's still ongoing on cable TV too. So every, I think tonight, every Thursday night around midnight is the new episode as well. So it's very fresh, but I thought I would bring it up because it kind of falls in today's topic of ghosts and, the paranormal and stuff. So just a brief summary. It's about a boy and a girl, and the boy is really into extraterrestrial life, UFOs and stuff. And the girl is really into her grandma's she has that reikan that we talked about before, so she's really sensitive to spirits and stuff. So she believes in ghosts, but she doesn't believe in UFOs. And then he's the opposite. He's what do you mean ghosts aren't real, but aliens definitely are? So they kind of become friends that way, just trying to prove to each other. And then they touch on a lot of paranormal I guess ghost stories in Japan. There was one, I think we talked about it, but that first episode, they to prove it to him, ghosts are real. He goes into a tunnel, and there's supposed to be this scary granny at the end of that tunnel. And so I was watching it ooh, maybe this is more interesting now because we talked about this stuff and I know about it. So I want to keep watching it to see if there's any other not old school, but Japanese what do we call them? Legends, lore and legends and stuff that are going to be in those episodes. So
interesting. Okay, I want to watch it.
Yeah. That's all I'm curious about. The story itself is we'll see how it goes. I think there's only 2 episodes, but yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. We do have, so since we've done two or three scary episodes already. We did get a couple more stories from listeners, so
thank you.
Let's read those really quick.
Yes.
This is from your friend?
Yeah, so I was very pleasantly surprised seeing the submission just now. I was oh, I know them. Hi. We'll keep you anonymous if that is best, but yeah, hello. Thank you for listening and thank you for submitting.
Thank you for sending the story.
So actually, this is the same friend that in a couple episodes back, I mentioned how, I thought there was some kind of dark spirit or ghost in my house because I always just felt something, there, and I couldn't sleep well. And I mentioned how I had a friend who was really sensitive to that stuff and who came to my house and was yeah, there's an angry man living in here. Yeah, it's this friend. So I'm going to read this story because I'm sure it's a good one. So let me catch my breath really quickly. Ooh. Okay. I was an English teacher in a tiny town about 45 minutes from Narita Airport. I encountered many strange things while working at my junior high school, but one incident stands out vividly in my mind. It was a normal day. I had just finished teaching a class of first-year students on the bottom floor of the school and was climbing up the steps to our faculty office. On the way up, I ran into a teacher I'll call Takashi-sensei. She was the music teacher and a good friend because she spoke English well. Takashi-sensei smiled brightly as usual and gave me a little wave on the way down to the stairs. When I reached the faculty office, I gasped and turned pale. This alerted several teachers who asked, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" The first person who asked me was Takashi-sensei herself. There was no way she could have returned to the faculty office without passing me. When I explained what happened, she laughed and said, "Kawaii," like scary. And the rest of the day we went by without incident. A few days later, she returned to me and was a little shaken up. She explained that the other people had seen her doppelganger after I had. Since she was a music teacher, she led the school's brass band club. She said the students had seen her lingering and acting strange around the band room when she hadn't arrived at school yet. Her mother had also seen her walking outside their house when she wasn't due to return home. Takashi-sensei's mother found it weird since teachers tend to work late in Japan. She went outside to investigate. She found no trace of her daughter or her vehicle in the parking lot. When Takashi-sensei returned home, her mother warned her to be careful because it was bad luck to see a doppelganger. After this incident, her double was never seen again. I think about this often, though, because I was not the only person to see her. I know what I saw had not been my imagination. On a less scary note, Takashi-sensei is still doing well and thriving.
Ooh,
dun, dun.
Okay.
That's scary. There's just like a doppelganger ghost in the school. That went like, I don't know, very unexpected. I
wasn't expecting multiple people to have seen
one, and I wasn't expecting a doppelganger of like a teacher. Usually, you know, in these scenarios when it's a school, it's always something, you know, creepy with the students or someone who has like a student has passed and stuff. So did we cover this? Is there like some kind of not taboo, what is it called, like superstition superstition about like
suspicious?
I mean, apparently there is. Her mother said, you know, it is bad luck to see a doppelganger and stuff, but I've never heard that before. Have you?
Yeah, but I've heard it in the way like you can't see your own doppelganger because if you see it, then you will pass soon. So did you watch Saltburn actually?
No, it's still on my list. I know we talked about how I should watch it soon, but
okay, never mind.
Does it go into that? Is it like a paranormal movie?
No, it's not paranormal at all, but yeah, I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it for you.
No, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Okay.
Yeah, you should. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they say that you can't see your own doppelganger.
Like you must not see it, or like in general, you just like cannot see it.
Well,
I mean,
if you do.
If you do, you will.
It's like seeing yourself die in a dream or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it sounds like, you know, I'm glad Takashi-sensei is doing it.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, she didn't see it. It sounds like she didn't see it. And even her mom was like, yeah, watch out. Like, it's around. Where does that come from? Like, is it random? Like, does everyone have a doppelganger just lurking around? And
I
then,
hope
like,
not.
you know, like, what is that? Have you ever seen Us?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Body
you know?
double.
Yeah, we all have a double somewhere, and I just like gave myself chills. We all have a double somewhere, just kind of lurking. And if you see your own double, like, yeah, I don't know. It is. I'm sorry, I kind of forgot already. They said you only saw her one time in the school, but yeah,
on the stairwell or something.
Other people seeing her. That's wild.
Yeah,
that
really
is
freaky.
crazy. Oh man, I hope. Well, I'm glad she's doing okay now.
She's doing well and thriving.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Thank you for that story.
Thank you. So another one, this was a comment on a recent video. Someone who also lives in Okinawa.
Yeah.
So they said, I live in Okinawa, and when I was in the military, there was some weird stuff that happened in the barracks. My roommate would wake up at 3 a.m. every single day unprompted. We would also hear walking outside in the hall, only to quickly check, and there was absolutely no one. I saged the room, and she stopped waking up at 3. We also never heard footsteps after that. I feel bad for the guy who moved into a place in Kitanakagusuku. Mm-hmm. So this was a story from Reddit that we had shared before of, somebody in
Okinawa. Yeah,
like,
in that area that she just mentioned, yeah.
Going to castle ruins, and then everybody was like really
everyone
cold,
like really
even
freaked out. Yeah.
They said, so moving is a very spiritual thing here, and you're supposed to leave salt and awamori along with a picture of yourself or whoever plans on living there. It's a very superstitious place. There are also random places you will encounter here that just feel heavy.
Oh, man.
For lack of explanation.
What is awamori?
I did look it up.
Okay.
And I forgot.
Thank you. Sasuga. Okay. Not awadori.
Got awadori on the brain.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
Only in Osaka. I haven't seen the big one in Tokushima.
I know. I want to go. Okay. Sorry.
It's a beverage.
Oh, like a shochu or something?
Beverage.
And it's indigenous and unique to Okinawa, Japan. It is made from long grain indica rice. So it's like a liqueur or a liquor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so. So yeah, you should leave that when you move.
Okay. So I think specifically when you move within Okinawa. The picture of yourself is interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with the doppelganger thing, where it's like, I'm already here, don't come to your doppelganger. I don't know.
Yeah, I replied to that comment and said, leaving a photo of yourself. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that is very interesting. You just leave it like, I mean, we don't have to get into it that much, I guess, but like, I'm just curious about the photo of yourself. You know, do you have to leave it on your doorstep, like because you put the salt and stuff like outside, right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like a little frame of yourself.
Put it in like the genkan with all the stuff and be like, I'm coming to move in here soon.
I don't know.
Just so you know.
Oh man, yeah.
No.
Creepy.
Okay, so
okay, go.
Now for the main topics of today's episode. Thank you also for that comment, by the way.
Thank you.
1 second, I have a hair. Get off.
It's your doppelganger hair.
No, she's here.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so I really wanted to talk about the Ring and the Grudge and what it's based on, and if there are any like real life locations related to them. So
okay.
Don't worry, it's
build up the courage. Yeah.
You have any salt?
No, just in my
Just
tears that I'll cry. Yeah, I was gonna say just me being salty from hearing these stories. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna think about this positively because it's like it's research. If I know the story, maybe it won't be so scary to me. Let's gaslight myself into thinking that way. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so the movies. So there's, of course, the original Japanese version of The Ring. We're going to talk about The Ring first.
Okay.
Ring.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the American one is called The Ring.
Yeah.
So.
Have you seen both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just on a side note, like Ringu, like when you see it written in Romaji, it's like Ringu.
Yeah.
But if I say like Ringu, it reminds me of like Ragu.
Ragu.
Ringu.
Again, good. Give that to me because I won't think it's as
Just
scary.
think about the Ragu.
Ragu.
So the movies are based on the horror novels. It's a trilogy by Koji Suzuki. But of course, those stories have their own inspiration as well, which we'll cover after we talk about the films.
Okay.
And of course, the films have taken their own like interpretation of the stories too. I have seen both films, but I haven't read the novels.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, will you after knowing this information?
I would like to.
Okay.
Okay, so both the Japanese and American films follow an investigative journalist who's looking into the mysterious deaths of, I think, like high school students who have supposedly watched this cursed tape.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then passed away 7 days later. So the plot lines and background of the Sadako and Samara characters are a little bit different, though, with the Japanese film going a lot more in depth into her story.
Oh.
So we're going to have some spoilers ahead. Skip if you don't want this quick summary.
No,
but
this movie is so old. You should know about it.
It's been out since 1998. So.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The Japanese version came out in 1998.
Wow.
And I think the American one was 2002.
2002 or 2003, and I remember because I was just like a scarred little second grader. Yeah. That's why I remember.
I was pretty young watching that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blame my mom. Okay.
So in a nutshell, there is a local lady named Shizuko who was known for her psychic powers, and a doctor and researcher named Dr. Ikuma. He basically goes public with her abilities to make money off of her. She also has a daughter named Sadako. At a demonstration, there's a bunch of reporters there, and one of the reporters basically calls Shizuko a fraud. And then her daughter, using her mind, her psychokinetic powers, unalives the reporter who called her mom a fraud.
Oh, okay.
So after this goes wild in the media, like that the reporter is unalived by this little girl, her mother takes her own life. And then Dr. Ikuma runs away with Sadako, the little girl. And it turns out
Oh.
that Sadako is the illegitimate child of this doctor
Oh.
and her mother who was his patient. But Dr. Ikuma is already married with a family.
Oh.
So in order to keep his secret, he throws Sadako down a well
Okay.
where she passes away after 7 days.
I see. Already very different from the American adaptation,
Yes.
from what I like remember.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like involved with a man who has another family, and he's
Yes.
just trying to like hide his like secret child, and like, you know, okay. Like on a big theme we see in a lot of Japanese horror, right? It's always like a very
we're gonna see
sad
some
and
more of that
depressed, yeah.
jealousy, betrayal, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I'll let you continue.
No problem. So the American version, it cuts out most of that plot line.
Yeah, I had
really-
no idea that was like the main plot.
Like the Japanese one goes
Yeah.
so in depth
Yeah.
about this background story,
Yeah.
but in the American one, basically Samara, so they changed her name. She's an adopted child with psychic abilities,
Oh.
just like the previously mentioned Sadako and her mother. But Samara is portrayed as more sadistic and malignant. So like her adoptive parents are like scared
Okay.
of her.
Yeah.
So she is thrown down the well by her adoptive mother.
Okay.
I feel like they don't give you as much.
Yeah, I don't remember there
Like-
being any reason why. Like
Exactly.
she just
She
got
was just
tossed
scared of
down
her,
there.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say, like, of course, it's sad in both stories. Like, this little girl's thrown down a well. But because the Japanese film includes a lot more background on Sadako, it feels more gut-wrenching when
Yeah.
you find out what happened to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, in both films, so after finding out the truth, the Japanese journalists expect the spirit of the girl to finally be at rest because
Yeah.
her story is
Like known.
known.
Yeah.
But
Nah.
no.
No? Okay. Oh man.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, so getting into what, like, folklore that inspired this story.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Himeji Castle in Hyogo Prefecture?
Actually, no, and now I won't. But I've been to like Himeji Station and seen it from a distance,
Okay.
but I've never like gone inside and like
It's a beautiful
explored
castle.
it. I'm sure. I mean, isn't it the biggest castle in Japan, or like one of the most like I guess the most known castles for like tourism and stuff, right? Like
I think
everyone knows
so.
Himeji-jo.
Because it's one of the 12 originals. It's like a really beautiful white castle,
okay,
and
okay.
then cherry blossom season there is really
I
beautiful.
see. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I've never like been there, and tell me some reasons why I shouldn't go there. I guess.
I think you should. 'cause It's
Okay.
a beautiful castle.
Well-
but the castle has a well,
Okay.
and
yeah.
something happened
Okay.
in the well.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I'll read about it, I guess.
yeah, but
Go ahead.
so there's many versions of this story
Yeah.
of Okiku, who was thrown down the well.
Right.
But this is the one that was written on a signboard at the castle.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll read. I have a picture of it. So
Did we cover this in a previous episode?
I think we mentioned it briefly, but
Yeah.
didn't go into detail.
Okay. All right. Well, here's a
So
very
here's the
detailed
detail.
explanation. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so around the year 1500, Aoyama Tetsuzan, the regent to the lord of Himeji Castle, Kodera Norimoto, plotted with Chonotsubo Danshiro to kill Norimoto and take over the castle. Norimoto's loyal retainer, Kinugasa Motonobu, arranged for Okiku to serve as a maid in the Aoyama's house to ascertain his plans. Having learned of the would-be assassin's plot to kill Norimoto, Okiku passed on word to Motonobu. This allowed Norimoto to escape death by fleeing to the island of Ieshima, or Himeji City. But Tetsuzan seized control of the castle. After learning of Okiku's actions, Danshiro forced her into marriage in exchange for sparing her life. But yearning for Motonobu, Okiku turned Danshiro down. Unable to bear Okiku's rejection, Danshiro hid one of 10 plates that were treasured possessions of the Aoyama family and framed Okiku for the theft. Nevertheless, Okiku still failed to accept his advances, so Danshiro slew her and threw her body down a well. Legend says that ever since, the voice of Okiku counting the 9 remaining plates over and over again could be heard coming from this well. 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates. Motonobu and his companions eventually destroyed Tetsuzan and his conspirators, and Okiku was enshrined in Junisho Shrine as Okiku Daimyojin. In short, Okiku is framed for theft and eventually thrown down the well for rejecting someone's advances. Tale as old as time. Yeah, again, leave it up to a man to ruin everything.
That's such a common theme in stories.
Common theme, and it's like
in stories in real life.
In real life, it's like when you go to a bar and so some creepy dude is like, let me buy you a drink. And you're like, no, it's okay. I'm okay. And he's like, well, you're ugly anyway. And this is just the like super dramatic version of that. Not to like, you know, downplay the situation. But yeah, that is messed up for sure. He's like, marry me or I'll kill you. She's like, yeah, no, I don't want to. All right.
Good job for Okiku for not giving in to his advances.
Yeah.
But
I like that sentence, slew and through.
Yeah. Who translated that?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's the story that they've posted at the castle. But that is a lot of names.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You could leave out some of the names.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I like read it super slow or butchered like a lot of it, or kind of like messed up on the sentences. I was like really focusing on just reading all of those names. I'm sorry, but so you know, this is obviously a pretty dark story. So you went to this well, you saw it, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, the castle's not open at night.
Oh, so it's like not
who really knows?
Right.
Because they say that, you know, she comes out of the well counting the plates.
I don't need to know. I don't need to go at night. It's okay. But would you say a lot of like visitors know that? Like know that this is kind of the origin story? Because I think like, not to make it like a super touristy place and to really like add, you know, more, I guess, entertainment to the story. But I feel like if people kind of knew that there would be either more visitors or like, I don't know, more... I'm sure there's a lot of people interested in visiting this well and visiting this castle already, but like, I guess more like excitement towards it. I don't know. Like, would you say so? Yeah. Like. Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, it's already a popular castle for other reasons, but I think a lot of people probably just walk past the well without knowing the story.
Yeah. And so like, I mean, I think it would be really cool to at least have like another sign next to it and say like, this is like the origin story of the ring or something, you know. I think it would appeal to a lot more people, or like at least make people stop and like look at it, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, if there were people who were visiting it who like knew that story, I was going to ask like what the vibe was, if everyone is there kind of like all creeped out, or if they're like, you know, it's like a dark atmosphere. But I guess if no one knows, then never mind. Yeah. Yeah. Good on them for not opening the castle at night, though. I wouldn't mess with that at all.
Yeah. Who knows what happens at 3 or 4 a.m. at that castle.
I don't want to know. I don't need to know. It's okay.
Yeah. The well is pretty big, though.
Oh, really?
But they have like a grate on the top of it, so some people throw coins in there. Like when I visited, I did, and well wishes for Okiku's spirit.
Well wishes, while meanwhile she's just down there like pump, like getting hit by all these coins. Yeah, I'm joking. Please don't haunt me. I'm so sorry, but that's kind of creepy itself to have it be like an open grate. I thought it was going to be like a steel like covering or a wooden covering. That's creepy. I wonder if that's intentional. They're like, we can't, like, maybe to, what do you call it? Not appease, but like not fully trap her down there. Kind of like they wanted to keep it open so she can get out. I don't know what, because is that the original like covering from that time, or is that just something that was implemented by
I think they implemented that later.
I see. Okay. Yep. I would not like to be an employee at that place. No.
True. If you're
or like
the
security. Yeah. No thanks, man.
Patrol at night.
I wonder if there's. Sorry. I wonder if there's any stories about, like groundskeepers there who like have had encounters or like scary things like that. We should look into that next time.
That's something to look into.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's basically all I had about the ring.
Yeah,
it was kind of quick.
It was quick, but I I'm not going to say I want to watch the Japanese version, but I kind of like do now.
I want to see that story.
Yeah,
right?
I just want to see the story more so because, again, I appreciate a good scary story if it has like a good reason behind it. Not like there's just a ghost here. You know what I mean? Like I want to know why there's a ghost there. And so I feel more inclined to, I guess, learn about this story because, like we said, the American version, all I remember.
Jump scare.
Jump scare. And then like videotape of her sitting all like creepy in the chair. And then videotape of her like standing over the well. And then her mom just walking up and being like, boom, boom, like yeeting her into that well. And then that was like the scary part of it, So, yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Japanese version better because the story is more compelling.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot, but don't count on it. Okay.
All right, so next, let's get into The Grudge, or Ju-on in Japanese. Mm-hmm. Okay. I watched that movie, the American Grudge, a very long time ago.
I don't think I've seen either.
I don't remember the plot. I just remember the noise that the ghost makes.
Oh, the like... noise. Is that both in the Japanese and American version? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that noise used to scare me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're just in your house minding your own business and you hear that.
That's like, I think, probably like my older brother or something would just do that at like random times of the night, brother shit. But
siblings will do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I guess like in summary, so The Grudge or Ju-on is just about like a cursed house that's possessed by vengeful spirits because some tragic event happened in the house. Yeah. But for this one, I want to talk about the lore, like the folklore that inspired it first. So they say that this could be based on the legend of Oiwa, a tale that's over 300 years old.
Okay.
So trigger warning for this story, it involves domestic violence and sexual abuse. Okay. So Oiwa was married to a samurai named Iemon. It was not a happy marriage, for Iemon was a wasteful man and a thief. One day, Oiwa decided to leave her husband and return to her family home. When Iemon followed after her, he was stopped by Oiwa's father, Yotsuya Samon. Samon knew of Iemon's misdeeds, that he had stolen money from his employer, and he demanded that Iemon divorce Oiwa. Iemon drew his sword and murdered Samon. Iemon returned to Oiwa and lied that a stranger had killed her father on the road. He begged her to reconcile, and he promised to avenge her father's murderer. Sometime after that, Oiwa became pregnant and bore a son. Times were hard. They had little money. Oiwa became sickly after giving birth, and Iemon grew resentful of Oiwa. Next to their home lived a rich doctor named Ito Kihei. He had a beautiful granddaughter named Oume. Oume was instantly attracted to Iemon and wanted to marry him.
Oh, okay.
The doctor loved his granddaughter and conspired to help her marry Iemon. He prescribed an ointment for Oiwa to help her recover from the sickness. In reality, it was a poison which horribly disfigured her face. Seeing Oiwa's scarred face, Iemon's resentment turned into hatred. Afterwards, Kihei suggested that Iemon divorce Oiwa and marry his granddaughter instead. If he were to marry Oume, all the wealth of the Ito family could be his to inherit. Iemon was so disgusted by Oiwa's face, and Oume was so young and attractive that he agreed. Iemon began pawning Oiwa's possessions, her kimono, her clothes, even their son's clothes, to have enough money to marry Oume. Because he needed a legitimate reason to divorce his wife, Iemon hired his friend, Takuetsu, to R-word Oiwa so that he could accuse her of infidelity.
Oh my god.
On a prearranged night, when Iemon was out of the house, Takuetsu entered and approached Oiwa. Upon seeing her face, he was so frightened that he abandoned his orders. Takuetsu explained Iemon's plan to Oiwa and then showed her a mirror. Oiwa had not known what the ointment had done to her face. When she saw her reflection, she was horrified. She tried to cover the disfigurement by brushing her hair over it, but when she touched her hair, it fell out in large, bloody clumps. Oiwa went mad. She grabbed a nearby sword and punctured her own throat. As Oiwa lay on the floor bleeding to death, she cursed Iemon's name until she could breathe no more. Oiwa's body was discovered by Iemon's servant, Kohei. When Kohei delivered the news to Iemon, instead of becoming upset, Iemon was overjoyed. Kohei became suspicious of Iemon, but before he could do anything, Iemon murdered Kohei.
Oh.
He nailed Kohei's and Oiwa's bodies to a door and disposed of them in a river. Afterwards, he made up a lie that Kohei and Oiwa had been sleeping together. He was finally free to marry Oume. Oiwa's curse did not wait long to take effect. On his wedding night to Oume, Iemon had trouble sleeping. He rolled over in bed and saw, next to his face, the horrible, disfigured face of Oiwa's ghost. He grabbed his sword and slashed out at the ghost. Just then, the illusion ended, and Iemon saw that it was not Oiwa he had cut, but Oume. His new bride lay dead on the floor. Terrified, Iemon ran next door to seek his new father-in-law's help. However, when he got to the Ito house, he was confronted by the ghost of the murdered Kohei. Once again, Iemon slashed with his sword, but no sooner had he done so than the illusion ended and he saw Ito Kohei's slain body lying on the floor.
I think it's Ito Kihei, the doctor, the dad.
Ah.
Yeah.
Kohei Kihei.
Yeah.
So confusing.
I know, sorry.
Okay. Once again, Iemon slashed with his sword, but no sooner had he done so than the illusion ended and he saw Ito Kihei's slain body lying on the floor. Afterwards, Iemon fled into the night, but Oiwa's Onyo pursued him. Everywhere he went, Oiwa's ghost was there. Her ruined face haunted his dreams. Her terrible voice cried out to him for vengeance. She even appeared to him in the paper lanterns that lit his way. Eventually, Iemon ran into the mountains, where he hid in an isolated cabin, but Oiwa followed him there too. Haunted by Oiwa's ghost, and no longer able to tell nightmare from reality, Iemon descended into madness.
Good for you!
What a terrible person.
Yeah, again, a terrible man. Okay.
Yeah. In another version of the story, so this one was from yokai.com.
Okay.
So in another version that I saw, they explained more in the beginning that like it was an unhappy marriage because he was
like cheating
abusive
and stuff.
yeah.
I see. Either way, he was like a POS to her.
Yeah, in all versions of the tale.
Yeah.
He is garbage.
Okay. Important.
Yeah.
All right. So getting into the lore of the house, I guess, right? So there is more than one house. What? There's more than one house that is said to be the Ju-on or the Grudge house.
Everybody wants to be the house.
I know, wannabes. But we're going to talk about one today. So this information we got is from a great channel on YouTube, and it's a great resource for like ghost stories, urban legends, and folklore in general. It is from Tara, Tara A. Devlin of Kowabana. So she's also written books about this kind of stuff. So thank you, Tara. Shout out, Tara. All right. Okay.
Good resource.
Yeah. Okay. So many refer to this one as the yellow house because of the color it's painted, or the triangle house because of the triangle-shaped yard, or the Ju-on house. So the yellow house was located in Nagoya, and the house where they filmed one of the movies was in Saitama. The house was built on a triangular plot of land that was once a graveyard. Okay, there we go.
Of course.
A newlywed couple built their home on this plot and started having issues soon after. Some versions of the story say he had a gambling addiction and the wife couldn't take it anymore, so she unalived him and then herself. Other versions say the couple had a massive amount of debt and took their lives together. What most of these stories have in common is that something tragic happened to a young couple or to a family. It is rumored that several other couples and families tried living in this cursed house after some time, but they all ended up fleeing. The ranges of stays were anywhere from 3 days to a year. That is a big range. Okay.
Yeah.
The curse affected those residing in the home, but also people who just visited. They say the 2 police officers who showed up to the original crime scene went mad. Other stories of police officers who visited the house result in them going mad, trying to take their own life, or just disappearing. One of Japan's most famous mediums, Gibo Aiko, was supposed to visit the house for a ghost hunting TV show, but when she arrived and just stood outside, she absolutely refused to go in. They had to cancel this episode in the end. Another medium was apparently sent there as well for another TV program, and she did go in, but immediately started acting strange and incoherent. And some people removed her from the house, and she claims to have no recollection of what happened. And they also had to cancel that episode for the show, too. Oof. Other reports about this house, I assume from neighbors or horror enthusiasts who've tried to sneak in, are of hearing footsteps, children laughing, seeing a woman standing in the window, sometimes with a child. There was also apparently a blood-stained mattress left on the second floor by the last family who lived there and left almost all of their furniture. An apartment building was built next to this house in 1996, and most tenants did not stay there for long after. Okay. So, of course, the city or whoever owned the house at this point just wanted it to be torn down. There was resistance to the demolition, though, it's rumored that many of the construction workers went mad or passed away in accidents. So it was fully demolished in 2015, and it's now a parking lot. 2015? That's that's so recent, it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, 2015 was almost 10 years ago, but it took that long? This house was built in what? The 90s? The 80s or something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I missed the part where what year the house was built in.
Yeah.
When I was doing my little research. Mm-hmm. But they built the apartment building next to it in 1996.
Okay.
So the house was probably there for at least a few years before that. Or no, I think it was in the 80s.
Okay.
I remember now.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. Gnarly. Do you remember when did the movie come out? The Japanese one and the American one?
It was after The Ring.
Right.
Maybe later 2000.
Yeah, the American one is
check.
Definitely, I want to say 2005 or 6 or something. I could be wrong. But do you remember if those movies took place in the 80s? Or in the time?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. So Frankie is Googling The Grudge, movies. And if you're familiar, the cover art or whatever it's called, it's so scary to me. And they just
freaked me out with that.
Yeah, it just popped up and I got so freaked out. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The American film was in 2004.
Almost perfectly 20 years ago. So it came out on October 22nd, 2004, and it is now October 24th. So we should watch
it for the anniversary.
Oh, you're so funny. Okay, no, how's about not? 2004. Okay, I was close to 2005. Sorry, mute my mic. So The Grudge, February 25th, 2005.
No, but
that doesn't sound right.
I feel like that was maybe the sequel or something to the American one. When did Ju-on come out?
Ju-on The Grudge premiered in 2002.
Okay.
So it says, and then maybe that American one was 2004 or 5.
Yeah, a couple years later. Similar to The Ring. It took 4 years for them to redo it.
Yeah.
Poorly,
I'm sure. Yeah, I would say poorly. I don't know. But yeah.
I have watched Ju-on, but again, I don't remember the exact details. But there's a little boy.
Yeah. There's. It's circulating around TikTok pretty recently. But do you know the scary movies, the parodies?
Yes.
Yeah. So Scary Movie 3 parodied The Ring, actually, and that's one of my favorite scary movies. Of those series. And then Scary Movie 4 parodied The Grudge. And so Anna Faris is the main character of those movies. So you haven't seen it or anything?
I did way back when, but I know the TikTok clip you're talking about.
So if you know what we're talking about, just go watch it or whatever. But it's so funny. They're basically the Ju-on The Grudge boy appears in that haunted house that Anna Faris is in. Mm-hmm. And so she's trying to talk to him, but she's I have to speak Japanese because he's Japanese.
Yeah,
but
he's a Japanese ghost.
They're just saying all of these random names? Japanese words. Yeah, she's
Suzuki
Mitsubishi Honda, and he's sushi, sashimi, Fujitsu. They're just saying these words. And it's so funny. But maybe I'll rewatch that movie tonight. But yeah. So you said little boy, sorry, and I immediately thought of that. But yeah, that's how I feel I sound when I'm just speaking Japanese to people. Just saying random words like that. Worked for Anna Faris. Yeah, so you said you wanted to go visit those areas, or you've been to those areas, or no? Did I totally...
Where the Ju-on house is?
Yeah. I know it's obviously not there anymore, but would you?
I don't think I would go in.
Yeah.
I think I would look at it from afar.
I wouldn't even want to look at it.
Trespassing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to look at it and be in that energy. I don't know, I feel it's like real life Ring. Like if I look at that house, I'm gonna be cursed.
Oh, it's like the other story, Kune Kune, with like seeing the thing in the rice fields.
Yeah. Then you're like cursed already. Like no, thank you.
It'll drive you mad.
I'm like, here's like my dilemma is this is so scary to me, but also like I need to know more about it. Like I need to know what the other like residents of the land around it, not the apartment building right next to it, but like just people in that neighborhood in general.
The ones who have been there long term.
Yeah, like long term, and like are they affected, or like has the population of that area just like dwindled down because of this
ghost
incident?
Town now.
Yeah, and I want to read more about that. What is her name? Like Gibo Aiko, like the
medium.
The medium who was just like, hell no, like I'm not going in there. You know, like I want to hear like what she has to say, because and two people that happened to like two mediums, you know. So
yeah, there's probably interviews.
I'm sure
with the mediums, but the second medium has no recollection.
Yeah, which is like also wild. She like went in and then just had to get pulled out. So maybe that's for the best. I would like if I went in there for a job or something, I would prefer not to remember anything too, to be honest. Yeah. So I guess that works out. But anyway, I'm gonna sleep with one eye open tonight. Maybe not at all. I'll watch a happy movie before I go to sleep. A Disney movie or something.
Yeah, watch a Halloween movie, but a cute one. Yeah,
I'll watch like Coraline's pretty creepy too, but I'll watch like Monster House or Coraline or something. Halloween Town, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. Is that all the scary stories we have for today?
Yeah, that's all we have for today. That's all we have for our October episode.
Thank you for watching and listening to all of our October spooky episodes. It's going to be interesting to go back to like the normal stuff. Yeah. I kind of got really, even though I'm like a baby and I was always like, no,
we're a horror podcast now.
Yeah, I guess I got really into like the stories of it. So
they are interesting, right?
Yeah. Maybe we can think of a theme for November or December. I don't know. Christmas or I don't know.
We'll think about it. There's like a lot of deep dives that we could get into about lots of topics. Not all scary, some scary. Yeah. And just the scariness of real life.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah. Taxes. Oh. Did I file my taxes for the U.S.? I don't know.
You can backfile.
Oh, yeah. I'll figure it out later. It's okay. Alrighty. Well.
Anywho, our next episode will no longer be horror themed. We're going to be talking about reverse culture shocks, and we're going to have a special guest.
Yeah. So please keep an eye out for that and stay tuned. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening and watching.
And
we'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye.
One last time.
Ooh. Bye.